On this last day of Women's History Month, we look back at the accomplishments of someone who is gone, but has impacted almost every Black Miamian's life and those of most women.
The late Athalie Range marked so many firsts that she can truly be called a trailblazer.
For those of you who never got to meet Mrs. Range, you were truly deprived of the acquaintance of a giant among women, among Blacks, and among humanity.
I'll probably be introducing President Carter.
The son and grandson of the late Mrs. Athalie Range, who still run the Range Funeral Home, which she helped found, still marvel at her array of accomplishments that denote a lifetime of service and even a presidential appointment by Jimmy Carter and the ear of President Bill Clinton.
And what impressed me so much about her was that she spoke up fearlessly and was respected.
For there are people in this area who are suffering.
This is the most important thing.
At 5 feet tall and a mere 97 pounds, she became that constant voice for change in the racially divided Miami of the 1960s and 70s, according to Miami historian Dr. Paul George.
Was born in Key West, moved to Miami as a young person, lived in what was then called Colored Town, today's Overtown, and faced the same discrimination and problems that a lot of folks did.
And we have a school that is only 2 blocks away from our residence.
She and her husband Oscar defiantly enrolled one of their sons in an all-white school during segregation. She was already working to improve deplorable conditions at all Black schools across the county.
And she became just a wrecking ball to make things better, beginning with Liberty City Elementary.
She fought for cold drinking water fountains in schools, and that's one thing that always struck me as really unbelievable.
I think we cannot afford to let this man have fallen in vain.
As she evolved into a civil rights champion, Mrs. Range calmed a raging city when Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was slain by an assassin's bullet.
I'm indeed grateful for my appointment to the Miami City Commission.
She made history as the first female and the first Black male or female to serve on the Miami City Commission, still fighting for the less fortunate and to get Blacks out of the slums.
As we build our convention center, let's give equal attention to people who are living in the most adverse conditions you could ever imagine. I would not want to see you do this.
Range is hailed as a role model for all women.
She was a great inspiration, and as a result of that, especially for ladies, women began to come out, women began to want to serve, and she, I think, was a very direct influence in that sense.
In her 90s, Mrs. Range was still going strong and began working to restore the only beach in Miami-Dade County that allowed Blacks during segregation, which had become run down. 2 years after she died in 2006, the historic Virginia Key Beach Park reopened to everyone.
My grandmother was just a part of a fabric of persons that really fought for people just to have the same opportunities as anyone else.
And today, the Athalie Range Park at 525 Northwest 62nd Street still proudly bears her name. Wow. She came here many times and just an amazing woman.
She a giant. Yeah. I mean, for 5 feet tall.
Yeah, 5 foot tall, but a giant.
Impact, unbelievable.
Still being felt today.